Let me ask you something, and I want you to really sit with this question before you answer it. When was the last time you shared something personal with someone and then immediately regretted it? Maybe it was a coworker. Maybe it was a family member at Thanksgiving dinner. Maybe it was someone you trusted, someone you thought had your back. And the very next week, that information came flying back at you like a boomerang covered in fire. Yeah, I see you nodding. Because here's the brutal truth that nobody is talking about. Most people are unknowingly handing over the keys to their own life every single day through casual, innocent-looking conversations. And by the time they realize the damage that's been done, it's already too late. I've spent years in the financial advisory world. I've sat across the table from thousands of people, wealthy people, struggling people, brilliant people, people who made catastrophic mistakes. And I can tell you with absolute certainty, the people who protect their personal information are the ones who win. The people who overshare, they lose. Sometimes slowly, sometimes suddenly, but they always lose. So today, I'm giving you the ultimate playbook. 5 things you should never share with anyone, plus a bonus that might just save your financial life. And I'm not going to sugarcoat a single word of this. Let's go. Secret number 1: your salary, your savings, and your net worth. Alright, let's start with the big one. The one that makes people squirm in their seats. The one that feels taboo to even bring up. And honestly, it should. Your money is your business. Full stop. I cannot tell you how many times I've watched people blow up perfectly good relationships, friendships, family bonds, professional partnerships, all because they decided to drop a salary number or a savings figure into a conversation. And here's the insane part. They usually do it with good intentions. They're trying to relate. They're trying to be open. They're trying to connect. But here's what actually happens on the other side of that conversation. The other person either feels immediately inferior, which breeds resentment, or they feel superior, which breeds arrogance and a shift in how they see you. There is almost no scenario where 2 people share financial numbers and both walk away feeling good about it. Think about it. Have you ever had that conversation and felt like it genuinely deepened the relationship in a meaningful way? Almost never. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying money should be some dark, shameful secret wrapped in mystery. I'm saying information is power, and you should choose very deliberately who gets that power over you. As a financial advisor, I needed to know my clients' numbers. That was my job. A mortgage broker needs those numbers to get you approved. An estate planning attorney needs them to protect your legacy. These are professionals with fiduciary duties, meaning they are legally and ethically bound to act in your best interest. Your coworker Karen, who asked how much you made while you were both waiting for the microwave, she does not have that duty. Your brother-in-law, who keeps asking about your 401k at family barbecues, he does not have that duty. Keep your financial information on a strict need-to-know basis. The fewer people who know your numbers, the more control you have over your own financial narrative and your life. Secret number 2, that you're thinking about quitting or retiring. Oh, this one. I have seen this torpedo careers. I have watched people lose their bonuses, their promotions, their reputations, all because they couldn't keep this particular secret just a little bit longer. Here's the scenario. You're frustrated at work. Maybe you've been passed over for a promotion. Maybe your manager is a nightmare. Maybe you've just had enough and you're daydreaming about walking out the door and never looking back. And so you vent to a colleague, to a friend at the company, maybe even to someone you consider a mentor within the organization. And the moment those words leave your mouth, "I've been thinking about leaving," you have just handed that person an enormous amount of power over your professional future. And you did it for free. You got nothing in return, because now that person knows something about you that you can't untell them. They may start distancing themselves from you. Nobody wants to invest in someone who's on their way out. Your manager might hear about it and start building a case to push you out on their timeline, not yours. You could get quietly passed over for projects. Your access might get subtly limited. And the worst part? You might not even realize it's happening until it's too late. And here's the one that really gets under my skin: bonuses. In so many companies, the bonuses for the previous year are distributed in January or February. That's money you earned. That's money that reflects your hard work. But if your employer knows you're heading for the exit, guess what? They have every incentive to accelerate your departure, to show you the door in December, right before that bonus hits. Now, there is a right time to share this information. If you've already made your decision, if you have your next chapter mapped out, if you're in a strong enough position that the timing is on your terms, that's when you bring it up strategically and intentionally, not reactively, not emotionally. The golden rule: you decide when, how, and to whom you reveal your exit. Not anyone else. You. Secret number 3. Control over your legal and financial decisions. The power of attorney trap. Now we're getting into territory that most people never think about until it's too late. And by then, the damage is done and there's almost no way to undo it. Let's talk about power of attorney. Specifically, let's talk about how casually people hand this over and how catastrophically that can go wrong. A power of attorney, or POA, is a legal document that gives another person the authority to make legal and financial decisions on your behalf. In the right circumstances, it is an incredibly important and protective tool. If you suffer a stroke, if you're incapacitated, if you're in a medical situation where you can't manage your own affairs, having a trusted POA in place can literally save your life and protect everything you've built. But here's where people go wrong. They sign over this power too early, too casually, and to the wrong people. I've seen it happen in families. A son or daughter comes to an aging parent and says, "Mom, Dad, I need power of attorney so I can help manage things." And the parent, not wanting to be a burden, trusting that child completely, signs the document, often without consulting their own attorney. And sometimes that works out fine. But sometimes that adult child starts making decisions that benefit them, not the parent. Sometimes the money starts moving in ways the parent doesn't fully understand. Sometimes the parent loses control of assets they worked their entire life to build, and they don't even realize it until the damage is irreversible. Here's my non-negotiable advice, and I want you to tattoo this on your brain. If anyone asks you to sign a power of attorney document, you consult your attorney, not theirs, yours. An attorney who represents you has a fiduciary duty to protect your interests. An attorney brought to the table by someone else, their loyalty is elsewhere. And in legal matters involving financial control, the distinction is everything. This isn't about distrust. This isn't about assuming the worst in people. This is about protecting yourself with the same rigor and seriousness that you'd use to protect any other valuable asset in your life. Secret number 4. What you really think about your boss or anyone you deeply dislike. Okay, let's talk about something that is so human, so relatable, and so dangerous. Most of us have, at some point in our professional lives, worked for someone who made our lives difficult. Maybe your boss is a micromanager. Maybe they take credit for your work. Maybe they're just genuinely not a good person, and every morning when you see their name pop up in your email, you feel your blood pressure tick up a notch. And it is completely natural to want to vent about that, to need to vent about that. Human beings are social creatures. We process our frustrations through conversation. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that, provided you are choosing your audience with extreme care. The danger zone is enormous here. I have watched people, smart, capable, hard-working people, lose their jobs, lose promotions, damage their professional reputations, all because their true feelings about a boss or a colleague leaked out through the wrong channel. Here's how it usually happens. You trust someone at work. You've been working together for years. You've grabbed lunch together, you've commiserated, you feel like you're in the same boat. And so you let your guard down and you say what you really think. And then that person, whether out of malice, out of self-interest, or sometimes even completely accidentally, passes that information along. And suddenly your boss knows. And now you have a target on your back. Or consider this scenario. You come home after a brutal day and you vent to your spouse, which is totally fine and healthy, but you do it in front of your kids. And your 14-year-old doesn't quite understand the gravity of what they've heard. And then your boss happens to come over for a neighborhood event, and your kid says something. Kids don't have filters. They're not trying to cause problems. They just don't know any better. Here's the rule. Keep your circle of truth tellers tiny. Your spouse, maybe one deeply trusted friend outside of your professional world, that's it. The rest of the world gets your professional face, your strategic face, your game face. Because the moment this information escapes into the wild, you lose all control over it. And in the professional world, loss of control over your narrative can cost you everything. Secret number 5. Your mental health struggles. Be strategic, not silent. This one is the most nuanced on the list. And I want to be careful here because I believe deeply in the importance of mental health awareness. I think the stigma around mental health is one of the most damaging and outdated forces in our society. And I am proud to say that I have personally sought professional help, and I will always advocate for doing so. But I also live in the real world, and in the real world, particularly in competitive professional environments, sharing a serious mental health condition with the wrong people can have very real, very unfair consequences. Let me share my own experience. When COVID hit, I experienced anxiety for the first time in my life. It caught me completely off guard, and I sought help, and I was open about it, because I felt that the circumstances were understandable. Virtually everyone was struggling in some way, and being open about it felt like it could help others feel less alone. But there's a difference between that kind of situational, event-driven struggle, which is something that virtually any person can relate to, and a long-term, ongoing mental health condition that you're managing daily. The second one, unfortunately, can be used against you by people who are ignorant, afraid, or simply self-interested. I've seen people passed over for promotions because of whispers about their mental health. I've seen people quietly managed out of organizations. I've seen it affect custody decisions, professional licenses, and so much more. So what's the answer? Be strategic, not silent. Seek help. Always seek help. Talk to professionals. Join support communities. Build a private network of people who understand what you're going through. But before you disclose a serious mental health condition in a professional setting, think carefully. Think about who you're telling, why you're telling them, and what power that gives them over your future. Consult a professional if you need to. But don't just casually drop it because it feels like the honest thing to do in the moment. Your mental health is yours. Protect it. And protect yourself. Bonus secret. Your passwords are a vault. Treat them like one. Alright, we've covered the 5 big ones. But I promised you a bonus, and this one is arguably the most immediately actionable piece of advice I can give you in today's digital world. Stop sharing your passwords. Stop reusing your passwords. And for the love of everything, stop storing them in a sticky note on your desk. I know. Passwords are annoying. Managing them is a hassle. It's so much easier to use the same password for everything, or to share your Netflix password, your email password, your bank password with your spouse or your kids without a second thought. But here's what you're not thinking about. Your email address is the master key to your entire digital life. If someone has access to your email, they can reset the password on virtually every other account you have. Your bank, your investment accounts, your retirement funds, your health records, everything. And if you're reusing passwords across multiple accounts, which most people do, one breach means everything is breached. One leaked password from one site means a domino effect across your entire digital existence. Over the past couple of years, I've completely overhauled my approach to passwords, and it has been genuinely life-changing. I now use a commercially available password manager, and I cannot recommend this enough. These tools generate unique, complex, unguessable passwords for every single account. They store them securely, and if I ever need to share a specific password with a trusted person, my spouse, an adult child, I can do it through the password manager itself, without that person ever actually seeing the password. It's shared but protected. This is not paranoia. This is basic digital hygiene in a world where data breaches are happening every single day. And the good news is that setting this up is easier than you think. And most password managers have free tiers that are more than sufficient for most people. Start today, furiously. Don't wait. The final word. So let's bring it all home. 5 things plus 1 powerful bonus that you need to stop sharing if you want to protect your finances, your career, your legal standing, your relationships, and your peace of mind. Number 1. Your salary, savings, and net worth. Keep it need to know. Information is power. Don't give it away for free. Number 2. Your plans to quit or retire. You control the timing. You decide when the world finds out, not a second sooner. Number 3. Your legal and financial decision-making power. If anyone asks for power of attorney, your attorney, not theirs, guides you through it. Non-negotiable. Number 4. Your true feelings about your boss or people you dislike. Your circle of trust should be microscopic. Loose lips sink careers. Number 5. Your serious mental health conditions in professional settings. Seek help always, but share strategically, not carelessly. And the bonus? Your passwords. Get a password manager. Protect your digital kingdom like the asset it is. These aren't just tips. These are lessons that took years, sometimes painful years, to learn. I'm sharing them with you because I genuinely don't want you to go through the kind of damage that oversharing can cause. I've seen it firsthand. I've counseled people through the aftermath. And I know that with just a little more intentionality, so much of it is completely avoidable. You work too hard, you've come too far, and you have too much to lose to give it away in a casual conversation. Protect yourself, protect your information, protect your future. If this video lit something up for you, if even one of these points made you stop and think, do me a favor and share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you're ready to go even deeper, the next video is already waiting for you, handpicked by the algorithm just for you, based on exactly what you've been watching. Let's keep going. See you in the next one.